All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 8.6 factoring general trinomials. Now, last section we dealt with factor trinomials, but this one is a little bit different. Here we're dealing with when the a value is greater than 1. So what does that mean? It means that this a value right here is going to be something other than 1. Simple as that. So an example of something that would look like that is like, let's say, 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. Okay, so this is just an example of what it's going to look like. This 3, okay, is the a value. So this number in front of the x squared. Now, when we factor means to multiply. I am going to want to end up with 2 parentheses that multiply together. And it's going to look something like this, but now there might be a number there, there might be a number there, okay? So let's just hop into this. Now, we're going to use a similar method, okay? We're going to use a similar method, but this is going to be a little bit different. So when we go ahead and solve these, when we go back, we are going to go ahead and solve these using the X box method. Okay, so the X box, just like Xbox 360. So if you think of the value greater than 1, X box. If the value was just 1, you would just use the X, like we did last class. Excuse me. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Now, we have our X just like we had for our prior examples for 8.5. Now, we're going to set up our box very, very similar. Okay, but the only difference is that when we figure out what's going to multiply to go down here, you have to multiply the first coefficient times the last number. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to multiply 2 times a 9. So 2 times 9 is what? 18. Okay, so now that 18 goes down here. It's a positive 18. Sorry about that. Positive 18. Awesome. Excuse me. So now I want two numbers that multiply to positive 18, but do what to 9, right? Add to 9, which is my middle term. So the middle term still drops down right there at the top. The only difference is to get that bottom multiplication, we have to multiply the first a value times the c value to get that 18. All right, good. So now what are two numbers, same thing, what are two numbers that multiply to 18 but add to 9? Well, let's see. What are the factors of 18? Well, I got 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 and 6. All right. Well, how can I create a 9? 1 and 18 can't make a 9. 2 and 9, that makes 11. Can't do that. 3 plus 6 is 9, right? So it's 3 and 6. That's my winner right there. So I have a 3 and I have a 6. Now how do I get, excuse me, how can I get a positive 9? 3 plus 6 is 9, so that has to be a positive. That has to be a positive. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and, because I need some room, I'm going to go ahead and erase my factors. Okay, erase my factors. Now, the only difference, now, this is when it changes, that if I use the X box method, I need to put my X in the back seat. I need to put my X back here. Okay, now if this value is just a 1, okay, if this value was just a 1, I would put the X in front, put my parentheses around those two expressions, and then I would be done. Okay, but now it's a little bit different. So let's go ahead and set up my box. So now these two terms are very important. Okay, so I'm going to separate my box. Let me get a highlighter here. Good. Okay, so what's going to go in that first box right there? Okay, so remember the first term in the first box. Okay, so that first term is 2x squared. Awesome. Good. So now let me do the last term in the last box. Right there. Awesome. So it's going to be plus 9. Awesome. Now I have these two terms. Now it does not matter where you put it. Again, it does not matter where you put it. Just put one term there, one term there. So I'm going to put a plus 3x there. I'm going to put a plus 6x there. Now, very, very important. Make sure you carry the signs that you used. And when I show you in a little while, you always take the sign of the touching box. You always take the sign of the touching box, and I'll give an example. So now, a couple chapters ago, or sorry, a couple sections ago, we multiplied, right? We actually multiplied two parentheses. We either FOILed or used the box method to multiply. We had a term here and a term there. We multiplied those two terms and got something in the box. But now we're going backwards. I have what's in the box. I need to see what I multiply to get there. So we're going to do this by taking out the greatest common factor. So if I take out the greatest common factor, I'm going to go horizontally, and then I'm going to go vertically. So what does that mean? So right now, I want to look at these two boxes. Okay? I want to take out the GCF going horizontally, so that's from right to left. So an important point is that I always want you to pull a GCF out left and up. So it's always going left and up. So now, what is the greatest common factor of 2x squared and 3x? Well, they don't have a number I could divide both 2 and 3 by, so I can't take out a number. But what can I take out? I have x squared and x. They both share an x. Okay, good. So that's my greatest common factor for the top. Now look at the bottom. I have positive 6x plus 3. What can I divide both 6 and 9 by? I can both divide 6 and 9 by 3. Awesome. So that's my greatest common factor between the two. Numbers. Now, if I have an x here, and I don't have an x here, then I can't take out an x. I can't take out something that's not there. So that's like saying if I had $9 in my right pocket, $9 and a quarter in my left pocket, I can't pull out any quarters from my right pocket because I don't have them. Okay? Awesome. So my GCF, or what I pulled out here, is just going to be 3. And what I said, always take the sign that's touching, and that sign is positive. Okay? Good. So now, I want to go vertically. That's not a straight line, but we'll get it. Okay? So now I want to concentrate on, let me change the color to, let's go green. So now I want to talk about these two boxes here. Okay, so right here I have 2x squared and 6x. Okay, well, what can I divide both 2 and 6 by? Divide both 2 and 6 by 2, right? Good. Now I have x squared and x. So if I have x times x here and x, they both share in x. Okay, so my 2x would be my greatest common factor between those two values. Awesome. Now my next box is going to be 3x plus 9. So what can you divide both 3 and 9 by? You divide both 3 and 9 by a 3. Awesome. So now you're going to look at your variables. I have an x here and no x here, so I can't pull out any x values. Okay? So now, to always take the sign that's touching, so the touching box here is positive. Now, if you see, I formed two expressions. My first expression is 2x plus 3. And then I'm multiplying that by x plus 3. Okay? Now, that's my answer. Simple as that. So now if you multiply this back out, you're going to get 2x squared plus 9, x plus 9. Okay, so let's try that out. Let's do 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 3 times 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is positive 9. Combine like terms, 2x squared plus 9x plus 9. Is that what we started with? Yes, it is. Awesome. So that is how you check your work. So now I'm just going to erase this real quick so I have some room. Now um, I'm gonna do another example with you, and then I'm gonna let you work on number 3 by yourself, and number 4 is gonna be a money problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this one up. First things first, remember I need two numbers that multiply to a number but add to another number. Now what numbers are we looking at? That's not a great looking plus sign there. Okay, that's not much better, but I'm trying. So if I have 3 and 8, that makes 24. So on two numbers, positive 24, two numbers that multiply to positive 24, but add to what number? Drop that middle number, plus 14. Awesome. So there are two numbers that multiply to 24, but add to 12. Well, it's 1 times 24, 2 times 12. Then I have 6 times 4. Oh, I forgot 1, 3, and 8. Okay, good. Now, how can I create a 14 from any of these? 1 plus 24. No. 2 and 14 make 14. 6 and 4 make 10. 3 and 8 make 11. No. So 2 and 12 would be my numbers I need. Now, remember, if this is something other than 1, which is a 3, I'm going to put my x where? X goes in the back seat for the X box method. X goes in the back seat. Good. Now, what sign am I going to need for my 2 and my 12? Well, I need this to be a positive 2 and a positive 12 for it to add to be positive 14. Awesome. Okay. So those are my two terms I need. Good. So now, like I said, let's go back. I need my first term. And the first, I'll keep it the same color. Sorry. Let's go yellow. First term, first box. First term, first box. That is going to be 3x to the 4th. Good. Then I want last term in the last box. Last term in the last box. That's going to be a positive 8. Awesome. Okay. Good. Now I have these two terms. I could plug them anywhere. So let's put positive 2x there and a positive 12x there. Now don't forget to use the x. Don't forget to carry that x. Okay, good. I'm just going to erase my factors a little bit so I have some more room, because remember my next step is to pull out the GCF. So let me pull out the GCF. So remember, I want to pull out the GCF horizontally first. So the first two boxes I want to look at are the top two. Okay, top two. So if I have 3x to the 4th plus 2x, well, let's look at the numbers first. Can I divide anything by 3 or 2 evenly? I cannot. What about, oh, this is supposed to be an x squared. Sorry. Okay, so if I have x squared and x, what's my greatest common factor between x squared and x? Well, you can both divide them by an x. Awesome. Okay, good. So now let's go look at these two bottom boxes. So if I have 12x plus 8, well, you could divide both of them by what? I could divide both of them by 4, right? That would be my greatest common factor. So if I pulled out a 4, right? You divide 12 by 4, it's 3. If you divide 8 by 4, it's 2. So I have 3 and a 2. Good. So now what sign are you going to take? Take that positive, because that's touching. Awesome. Now let's go vertically. Use green here. So look at these two boxes right there. So if I have 3x squared plus 12x, what's my greatest common factor? Let's look at the numbers first. 3 and 12. My greatest common factor is what? 3, right? You divide 3 and 12 by 3. Remember, when you take out the greatest common factor, you cannot not take out anything larger than the smallest number. So you can't take anything larger than 3, because that's all you have there. Okay, good. Now let's look at x squared and x. X squared there, and x, I share in x. Awesome. Okay, Lastly, I have 2x and positive 8. Let's look at our numbers. 2 and 8. You can divide both of them by 2. And I have an x here and no x here, so I can't take it on x. Last things, is the sign. That's a positive, so that has to be a positive. So if you look at your parentheses, it looks something like that. I'm just going to rewrite it down here. So you're going to have 3x plus 2 times x plus 4. And that's going to be your answer. You can multiply it out just to check my work. Okay, awesome. So I want you to try number 3 on your own. Okay, if you have questions, ask. Then number 4 is going to be a money problem. Okay, good luck.